What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to FBA Capital, and today I'm just going to be going over yesterday's daily rants case study on NAS100 from August 5th. All right. With that being said, hopefully this camera doesn't lag. I was just trying to play around with it because it was delayed, but let's get right on into it. So first things first, we're just going to start off by getting the previous day's highs and previous day's lows from the previous day, which is going to be Thursday, which is August 4th. I'm pretty sure it was. So we got the previous day's high, previous day's low, and then we're going to get the 12 a.m. open, which is going to be right in here. As you guys can see, it was a pretty choppy day for the most part, besides this major trade here that happened at the NFP open. But for the most part, it wasn't a clean day, and that's why I didn't really take any trades. I think I took a one trade, but I closed it out like break even just because I didn't want to be in the market for these conditions. But that's that said and done. Let's get this Asian session range that we have right over here. So the first thing I want you guys to realize is neither the previous day's high got ran through, so it was a bearish day. It immediately came down and targeted the previous day's low from that NFP open with the opening news. So there's a few areas in price I want you to pay attention to. One is going to be here. Second is going to be this wick and this high. Third one's going to be this low. Those are going to be the most important ones in my opinion. Now, yes, there's going to be a few more that are going to be of importance, but these are the ones that you're going to want to use for the future. Now, first thing I'm going to do, we're going to start up all the way up here from this high of the day. This was our high of the day because this was the highest point price came to throughout this whole day. And this is around 45, so about 1:45 in the morning. We didn't run the Asian session high. We just simply stayed below the 12 a.m. open and started to trade lower. And then did what? Ended up coming down and swept the lows of the Asian session. Then from here, this is where we got that NFP retracement. So from that high of the day up here, and this point right here from 7:30, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pulling my Fibonacci from that high to that low. And then we got our first confirmation so far for why NFP had this drop right here. So for starters, we had this. I'm trying to make the arrow like point to it without blocking it off. So for starters, right up here, we have the high of the day. Let's start annotating that. We have the high of the day at 1:45 in the morning. Along with what else? Above the 12 a.m. open. Even though it didn't go pretty high above it, you could see that if I were to zoom in right here, zoom all the way in to right when we got that high of the day, you see price came right above that opening price, created a doji before dropping lower, just like that. Okay, so now we have the high of the day. Stated from here, from the high of the day, we got that retracement where we created this low at 7 in the morning. We retraced, and then right here at 8 o'clock, 8:30 is when we had that NFP drop to the downside. Now also keep in mind where we were price wise. We weren't in any areas that really made sense in my opinion, but if you look to the left, we have these last few down candles before this up move, and that's going to be our 1, 2, 3, 4, so about an hour order block. If I go to hour time frame, maybe, yes, it's going to be an hour order block right there. So we traded into that hour order block at 8:30 after price ran the Asian session lows, and mind you, we were already falling below. There could have been a chance that price could have made a run for the high, but after this NFP drop, there was no coming back from this. So let's start to annotate this. So we had the 1 hour order block along with the fib short. Also, we had the, what did we have? The 8:30 a.m. NFP news. And then if you also take it a step further, go to the 5-minute time frame. This is something that I was looking at from earlier in the day when I was looking at it yesterday. If you come on in here, zoom in on the 5-minute, look at within this order block, where did price trade into? Look in these candles here. What did price trade into? Price came up and traded into this lower time frame fair value gap that we have. Tapped right into it right here. Tapped into it, was in this order block was within the fib. So this area right here was just our big short. So from this high of the fib, which is 13.334, from 13.321, that is the ideal area where we were looking to have a sell-off. And from there, the news came in, and it was just to the races. It was off to the races at that point. There wasn't really much I could do. That's why personally I didn't take a trade yesterday, because I wasn't just gonna hop in and chase the market. Because me personally, I don't like to take trades before 9:30 open. So this was something I missed out on. So then from there, after the news hit, we ended up running below and targeting the previous day's low. Then from there, price could have did whatever. After the previous day's highs and lows gets targeted, I usually seek for reversals. And if we don't have a reversal, for all I know, price is more than likely going to trend. And this is another example of it trending. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull another fib from this low. This is the low where price stopped moving after we ran the low. And this is the high in which that major move from NFP started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my fib from that NFP high to this short-term low that we got right here. And then from there, what do you see? For one, we have another fib short. Another fib short. We also came back up to almost retest this Asian session low. We didn't come to it, but it came damn near close. And if you also, we didn't tap into 300. Let me go to a higher time frame to see if there's anything within that area. Right here. We came in and tapped back into that 1 hour order block that was created at that open of NFP. Right in here. I'm gonna make it clean, so I'm gonna just have this line right here. And I'm gonna name this the 1 hour order block. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this with the regular line just to make it easier for you to see on your eyes. So back to our time frame at the low of this order block right here where it was created at the open. Oh damn. Let me just make this black right there, and I'm gonna name it 1 hour order block. Just like that. So right when we trade into that 1 hour order block, right up here, that's where we had that drop from that 9:30. Not 9:30. What is right here? 10:15. So let's annotate that. So at 10:15 a.m., we had the fib short. We also had the fib short along with the 1 hour order block. This isn't even the same one as the other one. It was a different one that was created with that NFP drop. So when this dropped, it created that order block at price. Price retraced back into it. And also it came back to that Asian session low. It didn't tap it exactly, but it came within that general area and this general consolidation up there. So nonetheless, it's still something you can learn from. It's something that is more than likely going to happen in the past. Not in the past, in the future, my fault. So now we have that. We have where the previous day was targeted. Now we have this price all the way down here where we ended up getting that low of the day price. So we got the low of the day at what time? 11:30 in the morning. And where did we get it at? We didn't really tap into that 13,000 level, in my opinion. But overall, it looks like we were holding 13,100. But I'm going to look more to the left to see if there was any areas in price that showed clean rejection. But in my opinion, there was no real area. Right here, I found it. We had the fair value gap get filled on the 4 hour time frame, right in here. See, that's why every important is important, because right here, you can see that we filled in that fair value gap. So that is where price ended up leaving to go higher after we filled in that gap. So let's annotate that. We have the low of the day at 11. What was it, 11:10 or 11:30? 11:15. At 11:15, along with 4 hour for value gap getting filled. And I think that's the majority of the confirmations for why we got this low of the day, in my opinion. We don't really have anywhere here that we held. We didn't hold this order block. We kind of came below it. So I'm not going to use that as annotations in my opinion. But for the most part, the most important areas were up here when we had this 830 retest where we ended up dropping and having this continuation. And then right here when we got this retracement at 10:15 in the morning where we retested back into that 1 hour order block and also came back to the Asian range low in the fib short where we again dropped all the way to create this low of the day after filling in the fair value gap on the 4 hour time frame. And then from there, price kind of just ranged for the most part. But those are the most important things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a schematic. So we had the Asian session range. Boom. Then from there, price dropped. Retest, having that 830 move before eventually continuing to the downside. Now, we did have more retests after that, but for the most part, this is going to be the basic schematic of what happened. Broke the lows, had a retest, continued to the downside, and a continuation of London session. So yeah, that is going to be our daily range case study for NFP. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going over the weekly review for this week. So let's do it. We're going to get to the hour time frame. Let me get rid of the Asian session indicator. Now that we got rid of the Asian session indicator, we're going to basically just start off by marking up the previous week's highs and previous week's lows. So all the way down here, we have the previous week's low. So more than likely, just based off of this, you could just tell that it was a bullish week for the most part. So you can see last week's low to this week's high, we had this retest right here. Not this retest, we had this high, but overall price continued to keep pushing and had a trending week. We didn't really have any lows or major retests. So in my opinion, we might get one next week. But as of right now, we have the low of the week that was created on Wednesday. We had the low of the week on Wednesday, and we had the high of the week on Thursday. So those are usually around those days is when it tends to make these highs and lows of the week. So I'm not surprised. Let's also look at where the market opened in comparison to how the market ended up moving. So as you can see, we got the market open price. You can see Monday, Tuesday. This is Tuesday, not Wednesday. Low of the week. Yeah, it's Tuesday, not Wednesday. So we have the low of the week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, we good. Low of the week on Tuesday after price ended up running below Monday's lows. So we created the low of the week after having a false break of Monday's lows. And we ended up making the high of the week after having a little false break right here. So this is something that you guys want to learn from, because a lot of the times when you have false breaks of daily and weekly and just higher time frame highs and lows, they tend to lead into reversals. And that's why I tend to say, like I said maybe 5 minutes ago, I like to look for reversals after we clear a previous day's high or low, because a lot of times they can lead to very good trades. So for the most part, let's just get the schematic. I'm going to make this green. Why not? We had the market open. Price traded to its highest point, which was 13,361. And the lowest point it traded to was all the way 12,800, which isn't a bad range. And then it ended up closing all the way at 13,992. So for the most part, it was a bullish week, just a basic bullish candle for the most part. Nothing crazy. We didn't have any major retests. So if I were to pull a fib from last week's low to this high right here, before we ever had a retracement, we didn't even have a 30% retracement. Didn't even have that. If I were to pull it to here, no retracement. If I were to pull it up to here, we still haven't had no retracement, so I'm just not going to draw a fib on it. So for the most part, this was our weekly range. Nothing crazy, just a simple bullish week for the most part. But I definitely do think that we are going to be in need of a daily range case. Daily range. Now, what am I saying? We're going to be in need of a pullback. I'm sorry, guys. It's early in the morning. But yeah, so that's my expectations as of right now for what happened. And that's really it. So if you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, if you found it informative or just like how I trade overall, just make sure like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be doing these every single day. Back to the motions. Got the whole setup, got the new everything. So I'm going to be putting in that work for you guys. So appreciate the video if you stayed for the whole thing. Appreciate it. Join the Telegram. The link is in the description if you haven't already. And I'll see you all tomorrow for the weekly review.